Hi, illustrious viewers. Here I am in Sydney. I'm at a friend's place, so a shout out to Emma and Ash. Thank you. Very nice space. So it's over. The State of the Union Carnival show is over. I'm not even going to go there. And I was just thinking, going through the list, the ever-growing list of things to read on, but sometimes you need to double back and revisit the basics. And I had a feeling, what's really going to do the most damage to Trump over time? He's still sitting on his tax returns. Is he really afraid we're going to find out that he's taken money from Russia, or that he's broke because he spends his life being broke and just dancing out of the debt bubble? There's the taxes, but there's also the mysterious spending of $107 million on his inaugural event. I didn't see it. Anyone here see $107 million worth of something or other? So, I think there's several questions. Where did the money come from, and what it was spent on, and whether it's going to affect him? So let's have a little look at that. Okay, so this is the inaugural funding. The inaugural funding. First of all, the $107 million, where did it come from? Now, this raises lots of questions in itself, doesn't it? He raises money at rallies, so people who are broke put in their $20 and everything to get him going. God knows what they spend on a MAGA hat. But I want to know where the majority of the money came from. All right. Yes, the merchant class. Oh, God. How to put these so you can see them a bit better. All right, first off the rank, the smug merchant. So this was a mix, I think, of wealthy donors. This figure is wealthy in trade. This is when the GOP donors were still on board. Remember, they were waiting for their tax breaks. So he got a lot of support from the comfortable merchant class, the traders. All right. Now, if these were just American donors, what's the problem? Why would there be lies and deceit? So this has to raise the question of the other donors, and I'll do a clarifier on that in a moment. Then don't look at me, I've got a war to fight, look how busy I am, the distracted Knight of Swords, I'm going into the headwinds. This is Trump talking. I'm so brave, I'm so gallant, how could you question moi? Okay. Alas, Queen of Swords turns up to counter the Knight, going, slow down, Tiger, we're going to have a look. All right, so essentially the moneyed classes, but the lies and deceit. So that's the one I want to do the clarifier on. The clarifier on. What's the lies and deceit about this money? Nostalgia. Curious. So maybe that's still speaking to the merchant class wanting to take all American values, back into the 50s, if not the 1890s. The card of nostalgia. I'm going to draw another one because it's not really giving me a clear idea of why Oh, I've just had another thought. Why the lies and deceit? The mercenary. That makes infinitely more sense, doesn't it, viewers? So, moneyed men and mercenaries for hire. Okay, so I have a question whether there was some really dodgy money in there as well, because there is talk of the Saudis, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. This is part of the Washington Post investigation. So were there foreign interests involved in this money? The foreign interest component. Overseas money. The magician, the lover, oh Lord, Lordy. Oh, this tells the entire story of the inauguration, doesn't it? Really, viewers. The magician, as in Trump, the trickster and the con man, but also he's very good at it. He fools, 25 to 35% of the American people with this undiluted crapola. So he's good at it. And this was him. And I would also say the team, right, who was still on board at the time and flying high. This is the early days. This is the glory days. This was the unexpected presidency, and this was the inauguration. So this is also, Kushner and Don Jr. and Ivanka. The magic. Deals with everybody. They were on the phone. What I see this as representing, this is selling access to the president. You give us money for the circus, we'll give you access to the Yeti. This was the deals about the money, which Muller is going to look at. Hello, good morning, Bob. And to our astonishment, we find there is some conniving with family money. Well, basically, yeah, it's like 60 million's unaccounted for. And this is not looking marvellous for Ivanka. Because it was a celebration and a show and all of that stuff, there's a gender thing here too. Oh, Ivanka can do that. It's not big business. Ivanka can do it. So she's now hiding behind, non-existent spokespeople and stuff. But I don't think this is going to be marvellous for Ivanka. The Trump family have a history of this. You start a charity and that becomes your piggy bank. You have an inauguration and that becomes your piggy bank. So you're now related to the president, so you can sell access, Kushner and Don Jr. This is Kushner and Ivanka's job, I think, But will it translate into anything? I sometimes think with all the big stuff that's going on with Mueller, more likely to be the little stuff that can be resolved and proven quite quickly that is valuable. So let's have a look. Will it do anything towards waking people up to the fact that this is just a criminal family? This guy is just a house burglar. It's just you've given him the keys of the White House and he's raiding it. So will this have any effect on public opinion? Let's have a look. The two people there. Oh, some emotional decision. Well, it will, but I'm not seeing it in a decisive way. Top of the pack is the Fool. The Fool can be many things, but in this case, I think this is talking about fooling people and being fooled, and it is about the Fool. Right. Some people will be astonished and wounded to find out that their MAGA hat guy actually just blandly ripped them off. This will be a news flash for some people who will be wounded. Equally, it could be 3 Trumps being wounded by this, which I'd like, but I actually don't think it's that. I think it's some people. It's this sort of thing. People can understand it. You know, you work for your kid's sports club or something, you know, and you have a treasurer and someone runs off with the money or something. People get this. It's part of their life experience. And so sometimes it's something like this that really hits home in a way that the really convoluted stuff about the intricacies of Deutsche Bank and Russian trolls just doesn't penetrate. So it will affect some people. Okay, good. Then there'll be others who'll evaluate. Okay, some will be just wounded outright. Others will want to evaluate, what does this mean? I like Trump because he's going to appoint all these oldie-worldy judges and, you know, I'm a flat earther, so, you know, I like him in there, and he's a changed man, and he's really, you know, someone doing his best for the nation. Well, no. And I also think it's the GOP yet again re-evaluating him. Because I didn't watch the speech, I only got to read the print media later, but apparently the Republicans kept jumping up and giving him a standing ovation. What the? Okay, so yet again, Republicans on the ground. This is not the Mitch McConnells and stuff, okay? The higher up actually know how bad he is. It's the ones who are just returning on a mundane level to the red states that will have to evaluate people's reaction to this. It will be an emotional reaction. As I said, because I think it's sort of something in most people's experience. And I think this is the GOP card. More internal conflict. Because no one thing seems to be enough to really push him out of the pool. So this is chipping away, this whole end of presidency. I mean, some people think it's going to sort of crash in a blinding moment. I don't. I think it's these incremental cuts. And it's important not to lose heart and think he's getting away with stuff, because he isn't. There is this legal machine. And it's not just 1 or 2 cases. It's not just the 7 cases that Mueller is dealing with and has divested. There are dozens of other court cases going on that are going to eventually bring him undone. But it's important, in the meantime, my darling viewers, please look after yourselves. Keep doing exercise. Hang out with like-minded people. Keep up with the news, but don't get drenched by it. Don't look at news just before you go to bed. Go out. Keep dancing. Okay. Bye from Sydney.